It's May 1st in a zone 3 short season, cold weather garden that focuses primarily on flowers. They're ones that died?
No, they might die. They're not too dead.
So we have some casualties of frost here.
They'll bounce back.
Then around this corner, she's got these nifty cold frames.
Oh, some of these have sunburn.
Some of them have sunburn. What are these?
Really, why are you videoing this? They look like crap.
Well, it's just the realities.
They're cold flowers.
And brassicas in here?
This is bok choy and radishes and lettuces. These are all cold flowers, so they're actually sunburned from me leaving the cover on during the day.
Because this is just your first year using cold frames, so you're still figuring it out too.
Yeah, but these guys, holy crap, these guys actually like cold weather, so being hit by frost does not bother them.
And what are they?
They're snapdragons. So they're perfectly happy in this weather, and they're going to go out in the garden next week. And they need the cold weather to look beautiful. That is how they kind of charge their batteries to produce beautiful flowers.
So this is the 3rd year that this plot has been cut flower production. And it's really exciting seeing how things are shaping up and also just how many things are growing outside in zone 3. So the top here, do you want to just walk along the rows and just give rough like this, that?
That's what I was thinking.
Doesn't need to be super detailed, just. So we have roses here, and this is shaping up to be like a nice sitting area.
Because I'm putting a cedar fence down here and then an arch to like walk in, because this is my favorite spot to sit and look at the mountains. So I'm going to put an arch here with some climbing things on it. So the fence will be here, and this will be the outside, and then we'll put gravel down here for like parking attachments. And then this will be kind of like where the garden starts. So if you can imagine it, these beds, I'm putting taller things at the back of here because it's going to be like the backdrop of the garden. And then on the other side of the fence, this is my 6-year-old daughter's garden because she needs a spot where she can cut free range from, because if she goes out and picks a handful of blooms from my cut flower production, she's gonna, that's like, oh, you just cut $75 worth of things and they're cut with stems this long and we can't use them. So this is her garden that she gets to go crazy, and it's a beautiful garden because it's my plants that I'm picking and stuff, but she gets things like bright pink tulips that she picks out.
So what are these?
Lupins.
These are lupins, and what's this?
That's 9-bark, which is a big shrub.
Okay, these are tulips. And we had -4 Celsius last night, which is like 22, 23 degrees Fahrenheit. So these are all very cold, hardy things.
So this is a lilac here. There's gonna be a lot of tall shrubs like lilacs and hydrangeas and 9-bark here. So it's like a tall shrubby border. Same here, tall shrubby, but lots of delphiniums. I really like the English cottage garden look. So a lot of nice perennials.
So the pathways are these wood chips helping to keep keeping weeds down. Hello, dog.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, he's still kind of a puppy. He's just a really big puppy. So rhubarb here.
Springing up nicely. This entire bed is 65 feet of asparagus, 2 rows.
Is it coming up at all yet?
No, I hope it lives.
What's that? Just a weed?
Yeah. So like you can see it kind of popping out of the ground in the spot. Here's like the very first eye of this one is starting right here.
There you go. And daffodils?
This is all daffodils and alliums, and it's gonna get shaded with cover crop quickly.
That's why these bars are here?
Yeah, so when you shade it, they stretch for the light, they reach for the light, and you actually want to do that with things like tulips and daffodils that tend to grow shorter. So it's a way of making them, they get shade so they don't get too hot, and if they get too hot or too much sunlight, they bloom right away, and you want them to like stretch and reach before blooming.
So you get nice tall long stems.
Stems for cutting. So the other bed that is covered is my tulips, because they were starting to bud out. This is all tulips. So I'm trying to make them stretch higher. And then the daffodils the tulips get pulled when they're cut, but the daffodils are going to be permanent. So this will be basically for life my permanent daffodil bed until it needs to get thinned out. But they make their head and then they'll stretch taller before they actually bloom. So they need to get shaded.
So down the side here is where you have a couple fruit trees.
There's fruit trees and fruit bushes, and as soon as it dries out a bit more, this was a cover crop in here last year. So now that it's kind of broken down over the winter, you see the soil's nice underneath. It's like good dirt. So I'm going to give it one last seed, a dwarf clover lawn. So it'll be like a strip, and this is where I'll put the other side of cedar fence. So it'll be like my little fruit tree lane. And then I'll continue building up this bark mulch pathway down here. This is a row of ranunculus and anemones, which are cut flowers.
Can I walk on here?
Yeah, just walk in the middle. They also get shaded.
So these just got planted out, so they still kind of have to perk back up, right?
Yeah, and then to your...
And what are these ones?
Those are anemones.
And then ranunculus.
Kind of altered throughout it.
Okay.
They're blocked by color.
And this is your strawberry bed.
My strawberry bed. And then these other two beds, these are just galvanized metal hoops, like conduit from electrical supply places. They're pretty easy to bend, so I'm going to use them as mini greenhouses also for all my squash and melons and stuff. I'm going to direct seed corn in about 2 weeks, which is earlier than you would normally do it, because I'll have like little mini greenhouses out of vapor barrier. So these are where the rest of my cool flowers are going to go. All the things you saw on the porch that are hardening off and ready to get planted out, they're going to go here this weekend. And then down below you have 300 peonies that are currently getting landscape fabric on them for wheat.
So here's a little peony coming up here. So peonies are perennial, but you can't harvest them for how many years?
3 years conservatively.
So if they start having a flower come up, you have to cut them back.
Yeah.
Not let them bloom, because it takes the energy out of the root.
Yeah, you want to give them all their energy to grow, but you can't cut their leaves back because they need that to gain their energy. So all you do is just pluck the bud off as soon as it starts forming.
Does it hurt to pluck the bud off?
1 year I forgot one last year, and then I found it when it was like this big ready to bloom, and I let it bloom. But yeah, and then down below I have garlic planted, and again it's gonna get a little tilling to even out, and then permanent clover pathway around the outside. This is all being reditched and leveled out because I want to get the garden basically one big rectangle, and this whole garden space slowly every year fills in more with perennials, and so it's going to be my perennial garden, whereas my annual garden will be on the other side of the house with the greenhouse.
So that's where you'll do your vegetables.
Vegetable production and like annual cut flowers, but this is all going to be perennials. And when I say perennials, it also means blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, like asparagus. This is my perennial food crop and flower crop bed. So all the way down to where that dirt ends will be just permanent.
So where it's all dirt down there, that's all garlic?
There's 4 rows of garlic, yeah. There's 2,000 cloves of garlic planted down there.
And so this year your vegetables will be there, or will you be tilling in some over there?
There's garlic just there, and then vegetables will be there.
Okay.
And down below to the ditch. It's hard because where the grass is, that's also tilled, like it's going to go all the way down. But
And will you start doing your annual garden this year?
over there?
Yeah.
No. No, because this is the only spot that isn't perennials, and then down that spot isn't perennials. So this will get its last year in annuals, which is also its last year of tilling, and then it doesn't get tilled anymore. It just gets no till. Like, I mulch a lot anyways, but you kind of need to till to work the soil and the...
Yeah, because this was not many years ago this was a forest.
Yeah, and then it was fallow pasture, which is just like weeds and junk. When we built the house, Al moved a bunch of dirt here, and so he put a few feet of topsoil here, and we're slowly moving up. We're just grooming it, and every year gets better. So now this was almost like a slump, so now I've been filling this in with the tractor so that all the beds are the same width and the nice even pathway around it, and just slowly working towards getting this to be the permanent, and then soon we can plant something that resembles a lawn.
But she can't go into. But she's a baby leopard in this game. Yeah, and we found her and her mama's dead. Her mama's dead. Don't tell.
And what's this white stuff you got all over the ground?
This is lime. It is not the good Dolapril lime, which melts as soon as it rains on. I ran out, so I used ag lime, which is nice when it gets tilled in, but this stuff slowly melts into the soil. And because our place used to be heavily forested, our soil is really acidic. So adding lime brings the pH closer to...
Oh, Ava, careful with the baby there.
She's 14 pounds. I don't want to trip her. Here's the baby. I carried her off the prickles.
Adding lime just brings the pH down, so it's less acidic, and your plants will grow a lot better if they're not so acidic. Well, I can't get it to focus yet, so I'm gonna have to play. I might have to play in the house, Ava.